All right.
Yeah.
What's up? What's going on?
Hi,
Hi,
Brian.
Layla. I'm finding my mics today.
Yeah, what's
Ugh,
your
there we go.
problem?
I've never done it on the couch before.
You've done it on the couch.
I've never done a podcast on a couch
That is true.
before. All
I,
right.
I haven't. Oh, we did it the Christmas one on the couch.
We did. You're right. We
Yeah,
did do well, yeah,
we've been through a lot. We've had the podcast for how long now?
over a year for sure.
Yeah. So I
Longer.
we.
Voice only was like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the mask for about 6 months and then switched to no mask, which was 6 months ago.
Right.
So then I would say 18 months total.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's shifted a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we first started it, it was primarily for the app that you were building to kind of draw traffic there, which was kind of like primarily for non-monogamous people. And
Which it
then,
crushed it at, and it still
yeah,
drives traffic, it's kinda wild, and
yeah.
then yep, then we shifted it.
And then we're like, let's just, go on camera. But then we're all like, oh, I don't know if we want to expose ourselves like that. And so we'll wear masks. And then we're like, oh, let's be loud and proud about ourselves. So then we unmasked. And now we just don't really know exactly which direction we're going in. We have some ideas,
Mhm.
but I know we primarily wanted to use this episode just to kind of like get really vulnerable about that.
Yeah, what do you have to say?
Well, I know we've gone back and forth on like our content not being sex focused or non-monogamy focused, which I'm totally on board with, but it is so much of my life at the same time, right? But
Mhm.
it doesn't define me. And I because in the umbrella of lifestyle, I fall under every single category, right? Where you fall under a couple of them. So I think it's easier for me to come up with a billion topics and a billion different ways to talk about it. But also I know that you and I have more value than just talking about non-monogamy. But I think where I find difficulty is like I know where that value is, but I don't know if that would be upsetting for our audience to shift. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
What do you what do you think? Tell me what to do.
Well, look, I'm less attached to the audience, I don't wanna upset anybody in the audience,
I'm codependent for you
but
guys.
I want to be working on the most impactful thing I can be at any given time. That's how my mindset works, and I think that, like you said, running the podcast as a part of like a larger vision made sense for some time, right? The challenge I've been having is like running a podcast because it supports something else, and running a podcast as a business, two very different things. And when I've been looking at the lane of the podcast as a business, what is your niche? What kind of clients are you going to bring on? What kind of products you have to sell? Because then we'd have to start pitching stuff, pitching products. That just makes me look at it through a different light. And we have been talking about products on the show occasionally, but honestly, they're never sponsored. It's just
Mhm,
we find a product that we like and then we talk about it.
mhm,
Like I have two products right now that I'm obsessed with that I can talk about on the show and mean something to me, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's where we're going to make the most money. And I think where we started feeling the conflict was the biggest part for me was we have an email address and like people will email us say we want to work with you in this way, that way. And oftentimes it was like a plush company or a vibrator. Um, Occasionally it was like, that one company that wanted you to wear a t-shirt that said how long you were sober. And when I think about the amount of work it takes to like close a deal, the legal, like it's like the work is the same, but the payoff wasn't as big. And then I felt that if not the podcast being a business in itself, then your podcast has to drive people to a business. And it was hard for me to see how talking about some of the subjects we talked about on the show would lend to a business in the world that I'm good at. And I actually started feeling like they were at conflict. And so I've definitely been the catalyst for like, no, we got to stop because it just doesn't make sense for where things are right now. Also, man, my face is on it. And I think that what happened was that one clip about, you not using a towel, which went viral. It went viral through like Black Insta.
yeah, I wanted more Black friends, but I don't think they wanna be friends with me right now.
And a lot of the friends that saw it were people that knew me. They went to college. They didn't know I had a podcast because what we were talking about didn't apply to them. So I never really mentioned it. And so people kind of found it and they're like, oh, dope, dude, I'm going to follow. And even my own sister followed and reshared. But then when she went down through the content, she was like, oh, I shouldn't have reshared because now our family is going to go see that I reshared and that you have a show. And so I think that I like greatly want to do something that I'm proud of. And I don't think that the way we've been running the show allows me to showcase what I think I'm one of the best in the world at. I
Mhm,
think there's other people that can talk about sex better than me
mhm,
because that's their life and that's what they do.
right.
And they should do it. And then they can go on and like talk about any toy they want to talk about and that be what they produce. And they'll produce some results from that. But when I looked at it, like I didn't think it was my zone of genius
Right.
personally. I don't know if that's resonating with you at all, but
No,
that
it
therein lies a
is.
conflict from my side.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that, and I know that we had told our audience before that we were taking a little hiatus and gonna have, like, a little retreat, which we did with, some of our producers, our social media team, and, kind of reflected, and I think even then, that was a couple weeks ago, we're like, "I still am not super sure, but let's maybe try doing our own thing for a little bit," and so I did a couple episodes on my own, you did some stuff on your own.
I did 8 by
You
myself.
did 8 by
I did
yourself?
I did 8 episodes. I did 2 by myself.
Uh-huh.
I did 4 where I was interviewing people. I did 2 where I was coaching people live, like going at them on the call.
Ooh.
Uh, how many is that? That's 8, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, 2 solo. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Thanks.
That that's exactly what I did, and I committed to doing 8, and I was like, "I'm gonna do 8, see how it feels, then I'm gonna put all 8 out." Because part of, like, people don't understand this either, generally, like, I think you find that what I keep hearing from people, we went to an event last night, met a bunch of fans, and what they constantly said was, "I love watching the clips, but I don't listen to the show."
Yeah, why do you think that
Hear
is
that all the
though?
time.
Because I feel like the entirety of our episodes are entertaining, but honestly, the clips are the hardest part for me to edit because you have to hook them right away, right? So it keeps people engaged and hooked. But you're right; they'll just kind of scroll in clips, and again, there's not as much context because I don't have as much time to provide context because that doesn't get people hooked,
Mhm,
right? So it's like,
mhm.
where's that line?
I think getting people off a social network like Instagram or TikTok is way harder than people think it is. Like I have friends that run coaching businesses and they'll have like 20, 30,000 followers. And then when I ask them how many clients you've gotten for your coaching practice from your social media, it's usually like 0 to 1, 0 or 1. It doesn't really translate as well as we think it would. One of my interviews I did was with a guy who's big on social for an e-commerce company. And he's like, at the end of the day, if I don't spend $1,000 a day on ads, I'm not going to get any sales. And so I think social media, we don't realize how much of our behavior is driven by companies paying to boost it. So I think that's part of it. We could do some work on our funnels to drive people to the show. But I think a bigger aspect is that the long form channels that we do post on, we're not promoting the show.
Hmm.
In spite of like us doing well on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube was a monster
Yeah.
to figure out. I mean, how many hours did you spend on YouTube before that I went and spent on YouTube?
Countless hours daily and like meeting with mentors that have followings and like endless meetings and paying them to mentor me, but then their algorithm changes again, and then it's just and then we're getting banned and
Well, it's that, but
flagged.
even when a clip would take off, it would flatten because they would ban it. So then I just don't think it's a good business to keep fighting the way the world is. And I felt like we were trying to swim upstream to some extent. And it didn't make as much sense. So then we started our plan was, you guys, like to take some of our clips, post it on a different channel, some of our non-aggressive clips, post it on a different channel and see how that performed. Right. And then you record some stuff by yourself, I record some stuff by myself, and just I wanted more shots on goal or more spaghetti on the wall. You pick the analogy that works for you. Um, just to see what would work, because otherwise we were making a decision in a vacuum. I hope this is interesting for people, but this is what the
Yeah. Also, I mean, I don't
background's
really care.
been.
This is our brain. We're doing a live brainstorming session right now, which is also really vulnerable to do. And it's interesting because I woke up this morning because I stayed at your house after the event. And I, woke up being like, okay, we're going to do Black people questions and white people questions part two, which I still want to do because I have more questions. However, you were on a coaching call with a lot of people this morning, and
Mhm.
I woke up and I got my coffee and I'm under your little office thing listening, and you were like, you're gonna do it. And you were just like so motivational, and you're like, you just gotta do it, and you gotta like motivate your and like doing all these things. And I'm like, you don't even see me, and I'm on the bottom of the stairs, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, we gotta fucking do it. We got to make moves. We're going to do something different. And I told you, I was like, throw the show notes away. I think it's time that we just get vulnerable with our guests and be like, we want to go in a direction.
Uh-huh.
Also, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you have as much fun recording without me? That was too long of a pause. What? That was point 0.2 seconds, and
I
that was too
had so
long.
when I had 2 things to say. One, yes, you heard me on a call with some people this morning. It was a team,
Mhm,
and they made a commitment on I had a call with them on Tuesday on Thursday,
mhm.
and they made a commitment on what they would produce between Thursday and Saturday, which is today. And they came in at like 1/5 of what they committed to. So then the call was very, very interruptive. And I don't hold back with these teams. And I think that they were blaming the people that work for them, but the buck stops with you. You made a commitment on the call. And so I think you saw a level of me going at people that our friends don't see. You don't see it on the show.
Mhm,
You see this from me if you're a client of mine, if I'm working with your company, or you show up at a training that I'm running.
mhm.
Otherwise, you don't see it. And I think that a lot of our friends would be like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I had a hard time explaining it, right? Um, the friends that reach out to me for coaching, no, but I'm not everyone's cup of tea. It's okay.
Yeah.
But that part of me, I don't bring to the online world. And so I didn't have more, I wouldn't say that when I recorded my own shows, it was more fun, but it was more purposeful.
Mm.
It was more focused. I was clear that I'm like when I did my solo episodes, it was I had decided what kind of information I wanted to impart. And it always came from a place of vulnerability. Like, hey, here's something that I have tried to figure out, or my friends have tried to figure out, and what we've figured out thus far. So I'm going to give this to you and challenge you to make a step in it, to take a step or do something uncomfortable with it. Okay. And then when I met with people, I was able to bring people onto the solo episodes that wouldn't come on this show because they didn't want their face to be on the same pile as, at some point you talked about, I
Getting
want to have a
married.
gangbang, right? So they
Right.
didn't want to come on the show. And I get it. I
Right.
totally get it. It didn't align with their brand. So it was fun that I was able to get more people on. Um, I think it will make a difference for people listening to that show, but it'll be in a different way. Now, when I think about what we've been doing, it's always felt like we wanted to challenge the way people thought about things and have them get uncomfortable because there's so much personal growth when you let go of your comfort and try something new. And we end every episode with that.
Yeah.
It just so happens that because of how we know each other and the app I was building, it always tended to be sexual. But in between episodes, we would be doing things that were new that were not sexual. And then we wouldn't bring that to the show because we felt it was off brand or it would alienate the audience. And I think that's something we did that didn't serve us and didn't serve the people.
Mhm. Well, what do you think that, because I was saying before we started recording, like, I feel like lifestyle umbrella, like, I fall into so many. And so I feel like so many things that I am personally going through is lifestyle related, especially regarding like polyamory. But then again, I also work in substance abuse treatment and things like that. But I mean, I don't, I know I bring a lot of value otherwise than sexual content. But besides like addiction, what else do you think I could help bring
Why would it need to be anything other than?
other than like addiction stuff?
Yeah.
I don't
How many
know.
people in the US are addicted to a substance right now?
Billion point five,
There's not a billion people in the world, but in,
two
in the
billion point
US.
five.
Okay. Give me a percentage. Like,
Oh, girl, I don't know. I don't know percentages. I'm gonna mess
would you
that
say it's
up.
more than 5% of people are addicted
Yeah.
to something? Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
All
okay.
right.
I addicted to something. I
To
would say
something.
to something. 100%. 100%. Whether that's sugar, sex, gambling,
Okay.
any like 99% of people are addicted to something.
Okay. How many people are in the US?
Oh, come on. You're gonna make me look stupid in front of my people?
No, you're not stupid, but sometimes you
Okay, no, no, let
pretend
me
like you
guess.
are.
Let me okay, no, okay. I can edit it if I'm super wrong. I'm gonna guess. Okay, so there's oh my god. Okay, so there's 200,000,000.
I don't know the number. It's 300. Thank you. It's 300 plus.
Okay, so I
Is it
wasn't
323 million right now? 333 million. All
okay.
right.
I mean, I was off, but like in the right,
Okay.
right.
So then if you believe that 333 million people are
Mhm.
addicted to something and your specialty is getting people off of addiction, then your target market or your potential market in America is how many people?
333.
333 million people.
Right.
All right. Now, when I looked at the data on the number of people in the US or the number of couples that are non-monogamous, the number's been anywhere from like 5 to 15%, give or take, right?
Mhm.
So then what number's bigger, like 333 million people or 30 million people?
I guess, but, like, where does that lead us? Where it's like, "Okay, we have coaching Brian, so it's a coaching and addiction podcast." Like, how would you describe that vision? Like,
I
what
just think that I don't think that the show needed to be about that. I just thought that it needed to, if the business you're going to run
Mm.
is around helping people with addiction, then the subject matter of the show gets to drive people to that service.
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right.
And I felt the same way about me. If this isn't if the podcast isn't a business on its own, then it needs to drive me more clients or drive me more speaking engagements. And I think that the subject matter was taking more away than it was giving. And so
I
that's where I was just like line in the sand. I don't want to be on it anymore. And the shift, the reality is like I didn't want to do it anymore.
yeah.
And the shift you've been willing to make's been because you want to keep it together and you appreciate the chemistry and things like that. And the tension you've been feeling, I think, to be fair, and tell me if I'm
Hard. Are you
wrong,
kidding? I get so I
but
almost said something inappropriate.
but the tension you've been
I have to be
feeling
careful now.
No, but the tension you've been feeling is that like how do we work together if those are the two different distinct things we're gonna be driving people towards? I don't think it is an easy thing to solve.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't really know, and also, like, if I'm gonna be talking about addiction more and being like, "I'm gonna help you not be addicted," as I sit here and vape and drink my lemonade, So I'm like, I also don't wanna be a hypocrite. I mean, I don't
You know
drink
what's
and
funny is I have two things for addiction, two products that I've been loving.
yeah.
This is a weird time to talk about them. We're kind of on a roll, but there were two products that yeah, you do have a vaping problem and I hate it
Whatever.
and I want to just shake it out of you and I can't. But
Yeah.
I bought this thing called Cloudy. Check this out.
You bought me
Guys,
another
this
vape?
is my third attempt at buying something for Layla to get her to stop vaping. So I bought this and they're vaping. It's a vaping stick, but there's four in the pack. One is a melatonin vape, one's a calm vape, one's a focus vape, and one's caffeine. So instead of nicotine, they'll have things like ashwagandha or mint or caffeine in it. And when you vape, I'm curious, are you vaping just because of the habit and like you just like the feeling? Or are you trying to um suppress some sort of emotion?
Has nothing to do with suppressing an emotion. Um, it's definitely like an oral fixation thing, so, like, the habit of it, absolutely, and also I the nicotine will give me a little bit of a buzz, and I like being buzzed.
Okay. So you like being buzzed. So is there part of you that's like, who am I to coach people on addiction if I have addictions?
Yes and no, because I still don't drink, which was my drug of choice.
Hmm.
I replaced one addiction with another, which may not be the best route, however, it's better than where I was,
Okay.
I still have my shit together.
All right. Is there a part of you that feels like you have to have it all figured out to help people?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, think so. I never wanna come off as, like, being a hypocrite,
Hmm.
Like, even calling myself sober sometimes makes me feel like a hypocrite because I still smoke weed sometimes and take mushrooms sometimes, but,
Hmm.
like, I don't do anything else or I haven't in a long time, and so I'm like, I don't know, so I guess I have a little bit of a what's it called? A complex, imposter syndrome?
Right. Which we all have to some
Yeah.
extent. All right. Would it be worth it for you if you just help people get off alcohol, though? If you just pick that addiction
Mhm,
and you had this life where your primary purpose was that,
mhm.
do you think you might feel more fulfilled than like what we've been doing, like hitting our head on the wall trying to figure out YouTube?
Yeah, no, I would love to work in substance abuse again, like, I mean, I do, but I work independently, right? So the last couple years, I have been working as an interventionist and placing people in treatment for free
Why?
because I also didn't wanna have to commit to a company, Like, I didn't want to have to build my own company, which is a lot of work. I didn't want to have a boss. I wanted to have my own schedule. You know what I mean? So it's and also, I was focusing a lot on the podcast, and I was really
Yeah.
putting my all into it, and I mean, I guess there can be a place where I can still put my all into the podcast that's also funneling a business that's whether that's, interventions or whether that's treatment placements or things like that. I also don't wanna have a contract with like, one specific program because there's a lot of treatment placement specialists that have a contract with their they're one facility, right? And so they're trying to get all the people and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should come here. Oh yeah, you should come here." But I could love the facility immensely and work for them, but then work have a client that I'm like, "Actually, that's not where I think you should go."
Right. Right.
Right?
Okay.
So I there's a balance that I think I'm gonna need to find. I'm actually getting a coffee with someone I used to work with next week, and I think we're gonna kinda talk a little bit about this too. So the timing's very interesting. So I perhaps the next time we talk, I'll have a better idea of what direction I'll be going in with that. But I feel most fulfilled when I'm talking about recovery. And you've seen me talk about it. You've seen me work.
I mean, I see you talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've seen
So
me in action and it
why are
gets
you doing it for free?
oh, I think people that have reached out to me primarily it's friends, friends of friends, family members of friends. And when they're in crisis, I'm not going to say, "All right, give me $2,000 and I'll help you." That's not like, cause I would do it for free. I would continue doing it for free, but that's my problem, and you and my husband both will be like, "What are you doing?" And so when I told my husband, "Hey, I'm thinking about maybe working, whether it's with a facility again or starting my own thing," he was like, "Finally?" He's like, "You should be racking in the dough with how much work you do." We were both on calls in our car before this, and I just placed someone in a program in Texas. I didn't get anything
And how
for
much
that.
is the program in Texas gonna make from it?
Oh god, okay, so this client is doing detox residential. They'll probably make 60 to $70,000.
And they're not even give you 10% of that?
No, because I don't want people to think that I'm placing them in these programs for kickbacks or commission. Like I want people
Yeah.
to know that
Uh-huh.
I'm placing them in a program that I truly
All
believe
right.
in.
Is there a both and though? Can they know that you placed them there because you wanted what was best for them, but also your life gets to work, that you're providing a service? Why is it like it's the same thing? Look, I'm about to have you try this cloudy thing.
I just want to hold it.
Just to give it a shot. Other way. I did it wrong too.
What do I do? I
Oh
squeeze
yeah.
it.
Okay. So you squeeze the bottom. So put your mouth on that. Uh-huh. Squeeze the bot, like
I am.
pinch Lego. All right, let me help you. Hold on. Hold
Well,
on. The hell?
you let go too fast. You're like,
My bad. All
no,
right,
no.
all right. I'm not very gentle here.
I wasn't anticipating. Oh, I
Like
wasn't
so.
anticipating the taste.
So the last one I gave you was it just felt like air, flavored air, right?
Yeah, no, that's caffeine.
That's the caffeine one. I
Wait,
probably
let me see
shouldn't
the
have given you
box.
the caffeine one.
Why? No, I'm
Layla doesn't need
tired.
more caffeine,
No,
you
I'm
guys.
tired
But
today. Look, my hair's in a bun, y'all. I don't give a fuck today.
look, I think that you get to have both. I don't think there's a difference between, God, man, so many people do this where we provide a service and then we undervalue our time, or we feel wrong for asking for what we're worth as part of that.
Is
And
that the imposter syndrome or is that
I think that it could be. I think for you, you want people to know that you're genuine and that you're doing it because you want what's best for them.
mhm.
And I do think that's why you're doing it. And I think that that'll come across regardless of whether you're making money or not. Let's say the firm was paying you money, they wouldn't know. So can you trust within yourself that you're putting them in the best center for them?
I
I
trust
I
myself,
think
yeah.
the biggest difference is like, let's say this one in Texas costs 70,000, right? And one in California costs 30.
Mm.
And you put them in one in California because it's the best one for them, even though you know you're giving up, 3 grand because you would have got 3 grand more if you sent them to Texas. Would that be enough for you to know that you're doing it for the right reason?
Yeah, 'cause I
Okay.
would've done it for free.
Because you'd have done it for free.
I thought about even opening my own program.
I mean, one step at a time.
No,
Because then you
all
gotta
or
charge
nothing.
people to come to the program.
I can do that. Well, I'm charging their insurance, and I have no problem asking insurance for money.
But would the firm in Texas have paid you for it?
No, because that's also illegal. That's or unethical.
So then where's the money have to come from?
So it would either be privately paid from the family to place their loved one into the correct program and to help them perform an intervention, or I fly out there or something like
Uh-huh.
that, which is a lot of time and effort. So it would be like, "Hey, I know you guys are trying to utilize your Blue Shield in-network insurance, but my services are $2,000." Like, people with HMOs aren't gonna spend $2,000 for that either, and then these facilities don't provide kickbacks.
I don't want you to break the law, but do you think it's true, absolutely true, that no one is getting any sort of
Oh,
referral
girl, they
bonuses?
all are. That's another thing is the addiction industry is very corrupt. Very corrupt. And I think that's where a lot of my insecurities will lie too, just like by working in that field, is there are probably just as many bad programs as there are good.
Okay.
And I just never want to be associated with those that aren't good, which might be even more than half.
Right, but I think there's like similarly with the show, we've delivered value for people by saying, "Hey, these are the parties that we trust going to."
Mhm,
And so there's so many people that these days say, "Hey, look, I either went to Lovely Fate or Mr. Temple or the play
mhm,
because y'all said those are the safe ones to go, and then we had a great experience, and they avoid the ones that we say don't go to." I think there's a version of that for you in the work that you do that drives value for people.
mm. No, that's really interesting. Like maybe even getting, finding a program that I really love because there's a lot that I could list now, but I won't because they're not paying me. But to be like, oh, the
Why do you
facility.
keep saying
No,
that?
just shut up. So look, here, work with me. So if there's, this is our brainstorming episode. So if there's a program in Arizona, I'm thinking of one that's brilliant. They specialize in A, B, and C. Maybe they sponsor the episode. If you or your loved one, if you think that this would be a program that would be an appropriate fit, please slide into the DMs and I'll get you placed there.
Something like that.
Boom.
They sponsor an episode, so the money's not, like, directly for that patient, but they're sponsoring an episode or something.
Right.
But there's a way to do it if you're providing value. I think the whole point of business is provide value to people and then figure out how you can extract some of that value for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you're always gonna provide way more value for other people. It was kinda crazy at Airbnb, like, in order for us to make, you know, we would make at most 15% of the stay, so we're providing a platform where 85% of the money is going to the host. This is what Uber is getting wrong right now. Uber's taking like 70% from the drivers. And I think that's why that system's not going to last forever. Like, Waymo is starting to take over and it's going to eat Uber's lunch unless they shift. But part of it is like they didn't treat their drivers well. But like they're taking too much. I think that you get to find a way to provide a ton of value for the client, provide value for the center, and then you take a small piece of that.
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 would be better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
For
know.
sure. I just like don't want to do this podcast alone.
Yeah, I think I can see that's where your head's at.
Yeah, I really don't. And and we were kind of playing with some ideas of like, oh, maybe this person could do it with you or this person. And I'm just like, I don't,
That was suggested. Yeah, someone suggested that if I leave the show,
yeah.
that someone else that we know who's been on the show before
And he'd be
replace.
wonderful. He'd be
Uh-huh.
wonderful. But also,
Uh-huh.
like, you're right. Like, I do want to lean into other things that I'm passionate about. And I think that you helped me grow so much because I forget these cameras are here all the fucking time. And when we're talking and doing these types of very intentional conversations, it's really influential for me. And then I spend hours editing it, so I'm just repeating you give me advice, and I'm like, I fucking hear you, So it's been so instrumental for me, but I also can see how it's been detrimental for you career wise, and that has been where I've told you the last couple months you just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like I just
Mhm.
want to be your partner in crime in any other, in any capacity. So to find a way that we could have a platform together that can have like that can coexist together that would make sense.
Yeah, I want to take the word detrimental out because maybe I did say that, but it hasn't stopped me from doing anything I want to do, and I don't want you to feel like um, I've lost an opportunity or lost money or anything like that. I just think that the amount of effort that it takes to run the show versus the return weren't aligning.
I know.
And so I felt like I needed to spend like I want to come on the show and record it and feel like it is supporting the other things I want to accomplish in my life. And so it was detrimental in that it felt like a distraction at times. Um People don't know this, like we meet every week, we try to figure out what we want to shift. When we were doing YouTube, there was so much around like cutting clips, trying to make them work faster. Like what's the game of what every creator works with. Like you create the content, but the game of content creation is where it gets tough
Yeah.
and frustrating.
I
Like,
hate it.
no, like who really wants to like the sun's out on a Sunday? Who really wants to be in the house creating reels, hoping that one of these reels takes off? And so I think that game is tough. What I've been feeling recently is my role is to get the business I want to build where I want it. And then the podcast has to be like this ancillary thing that is supporting it, not a distraction. One of the things I've pressed you on the most, it's funny, man. Like Layla, you will, um, Layla's obsessed with the audio on the podcast. And so you will invest, let's say it takes you 2 hours to do an episode normally, you'll put in another 3 or 4 hours to perfect the audio. And it's so stupid to me. It's weird because I know you're passionate about it and you've gotten really good at it. You have. But I've been wondering, like, this extra, like, 15% efficiency you're getting out of the audio, does anyone even notice? Like, does anyone even care? You care.
Mhm,
And what drives me crazy is what else could we have done with those 4 hours that would have made the biggest difference to the show or allowed us to reach the most number of people?
mhm,
And when I was like, I'm gonna record 8 episodes by myself, you called me, you're like, "I can show you how to edit the episode." And I was like, "I'm not editing shit, dude. I'm not editing anything,
It's a
dude.
lot of work.
I'm outsourcing that. My irreplaceable part in the show is booking the guest and recording.
Mhm,
Everything else, someone out there is better than me. Should I understand how to do it? Absolutely. So I can manage people, and I think you have to understand the role in order to manage people in it.
mm,
So I think making social clips is good so I can manage the social clip person.
mhm,
Managing all the time we spent making thumbnails will make me better at assessing the thumbnail people.
mhm,
But I don't think I should be doing it. I think I should be recording content and bringing on the best guests I can and building the business.
mm. And see, I would rather be the creative piece where it's like, I do like the editing and I do like making the thumbnails. I hate doing social media. Thank God for Nat. I hate social media, but I like working on DaVinci and I like editing on and I like puzzles. Like I was building bots during lockdown because it's like it's little puzzles and little things to figure out. And also I just like looking at myself all day.
Right. I here's what I know. I definitely won't keep doing the show if you're doing that much editing.
Well, then I won't tell you how much I'm doing. No, I won't. I won't. I've gotten better. A lot of it's plug and play now. It took me a year to get all the settings right, and now it's more plug and play because I worked so hard on it. And now I know, oh, this is messed up. What do I do? I'll spend 4 hours figuring it out, and the next time I get caught, 2 seconds, I know what to
I
do.
get that, but that's not where you're irreplaceable.
I know. Well, maybe if we make more money, doing this, then we can hire someone to do the editing, and then I don't have to. You're right. I just wanna do something together, though. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Well, don't you think that we could still kinda okay, what about content that we had played with before that was, the black people questions, white people questions, like other topics that would be interesting that we could still you're not paying attention to me.
I am. I'm just trying to get I didn't know that much smoke was gonna come out when I blew out the thing. Other
But, like
content that would be
yeah, like,
useful and
can we
helpful.
still do content that is still interesting and unmasking and getting vulnerable? Because I learned so much in that episode, and it's silly, right? We got some good clips out of it, and it's still silly and fun, but also really insightful and inspirational, and I learned a lot about Black culture, and I think that that's just as valuable and important that you can use your just pure intelligence and your coaching styles because you know how to speak to people. So I think that what do you think about, like, those types of topics too? I don't know.
Look, it's valuable. I just think that more so than anything in my life, I wanna, like, focus on what I think I should be doing the most of. And if it's driving value and it's growing, then it's worth the investment. If it's not growing, then it's not. And so I think part of our challenge right now isn't just the effort that we put in and whether it's impacting people or not. It's like whether the algorithm is allowing it to grow at a level that impacts people. So right now, I don't think it's worth it for you to spend, 6 hours editing an episode for it to get like less than 10,000 plays on a YouTube channel.
Mhm,
Like, I think what the commitment gets to be is like, how do we reach the maximum number of people through the channels that are available? In setting hard targets for them. But if not, you can work on something indefinitely and not be producing any sort of like value at scale. And so when I look at, and this has been the biggest shift for us, has been stopping to stop. Like we at some point this summer, when I started looking at the podcast as a business unit, that's when my mindset about all of this changed. And it's less like, do you want me to keep doing the show with you? I am committed to winning and making the difference for the most number of people. And if this is the path, then the results have to follow. And if they're not, for all the effort we're putting in, then let's just go do something else because I'm committed to making impact. And that's why we wanted to try posting on different channels. Um, Me posting my own stuff, you posting your own stuff. Like it really needs to be about where we can make the biggest difference for people and letting the results guide us there. Because even at the end of the day, if we wanted to be big on social media, we would produce different content to be big on social media. We don't have to do it in podcast format.
Yeah.
So I'm not a hard yes or hard no. I think people should know though that we are testing different things and putting them in different places to see what feels best for us. And I trust that people um, will will roll with whatever decision we make. I mean, they really won't have a choice, right? If we decide not to record. Um, but if like the listeners just want people to talk about sex, then they're gonna have to go somewhere. Either you'll have to do that or they'll have to go somewhere else to find it because I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's totally fair.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
I'm okay not that not being our primary thing whatsoever. I've always been, well, more recently been okay with that, right? But I feel like even like the last couple of months we because I feel like you're a great motivator. And I feel like you get me pumped up and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, all right, let's go in a different direction." But then you're like, "But I don't know exactly where." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm ready. I don't know where either though."
Oh no, but it's been pretty concise. Like we just haven't followed up with everything, right? It's like I committed to recording 8 episodes. I did it, right? Now it's like, all right, as soon as I get to eight, I'm gonna start putting it out. That's my next step, right? To see how that's going. I think on our show, we said let's take some clips that are non-sexual based, download these like 5 to 10 minute clips of it, and then throw it on a different YouTube channel to see how badly the channel is burned. And we haven't done that yet. So
Okay.
when I think about like us constantly recording and recording more stuff, it's like to record more and edit more to throw it on the same channel where we feel like we're burned is just insanity. It doesn't make any sense to me. To maintain like, the 5,000 or 10,000 plays we might get on social, it's not worth it for me when I think the goal is bigger than that.
Yeah.
And so I would rather full stop it and do that work. So like your editing time, your skill set, it's less like I recognize your skill and I see your value in it. I just want to put that somewhere where we're actually doing something different to measure whether it works or not. Right? That's
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
And so I think that, Annie's not on this conversation right now, but Annie's sending me all the transcripts, running that through AI. Hey, what are the 10 clips we should try out of our last like 30 episodes on a different channel? So that we see like if I make a really engaging mid-form clip and then throw a solid thumbnail behind it, then what? But I also think we have to throw our best at it. So like if you don't think like you might be one of the best editors in the world, but like maybe not the best at making thumbnails. So bring in someone who can run the thumbnails. I think you um it doesn't make sense to quit on things until we've exhausted all of our options, right?
Mm,
Just makes sense in life.
yeah.
Um, but it doesn't mean we need to do everything ourselves. And I'm not great at making thumbnails. You're not great at making thumbnails. Like, let's outsource that part. And then your editing time should be spent on what we think will make the biggest difference. And I don't think editing a 40-minute episode is it.
Okay. Yeah.
Am I crazy right now?
I know, but see,
That's the bottom line. And
I'll
I
do
and
I'll
I
do everything for free.
but I will say that is the biggest difference about this show and how I'm approaching the episodes I recorded
Mhm.
is that I'm not even putting it out unless I have mid form ready to go. I don't think the full episode is going to do anything. I think my only shot at reaching people is a really enticing title with a mid form clip that answers the question immediately. And it has to be, it is like, here's exactly how I went from 5,000 to 30 million in my business, or um, I don't know, like, you name it, but, like, whatever the punchline is, it's gotta answer immediately. And I think that without that, because even with our show, like, the best performing clip we've ever had, you guys, was Bella Snow talking about hormones. And it was a mid-form clip that I threw together. People started thinking we were a channel about it went so viral, it went so far that people thought we were a channel about trans rights. And they started asking us
That'd be
trans
fun.
questions on Chatter, but the point is it was a mid-form clip.
Right.
And I think the channel right now is so burned because of all the sex content that YouTube won't push it. So now all your work, like, it actually breaks my heart that you do all this work to make the episode excellent, but then Big Brother's like, no. And I think that a mindset shift I also have with this is, I think a lot of people go into podcasting, or they start a YouTube channel because they want to be their own boss and they don't want to have a normal job. But the way I think about it is that the people who own YouTube, they're my boss.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
They're my boss. And my job, if I'm going to be on YouTube, is to keep people on YouTube as long as possible and to make the stickiest videos I can to keep them on the platform, which makes Google the most money.
Mm.
And if I make Google a ton of money, then I will make some money from that.
Mhm.
But if Google, the boss, was saying we don't want this content, why are we going to keep trying to shove it down their throat? That's not, it's not like a hill I'm ready to die on.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So I
understand.
think we do that. We have a shot at helping more people. It's a better use of your time over full episodes. And then we come back to the table and we'll see. If we decide, hey, you know what, these clips made a difference for more people, then it's given us a path to follow. I know I got really passionate about this and
No,
like I'm
thank
lit
you.
up. Like
No, 'cause I like that, and that's what gets me going too. Because especially now, because 'cause I'm like, sleeping.
yeah, wake your ass up.
So tired.
Now, look, you don't got to go work on it tonight or tomorrow. Just working on it. We can start working on it on a Monday. Let's download we'll turn them into PDFs. We'll see what it tells us and we'll go make those clips and go from there. Okay.
Okay,
Deal?
deal.
All right.
That's good. I feel good. I feel confident. I'm tired. I'm not sure if the caffeine thing worked, but I'll try it again. Uh, you can tell we're not sponsored because I'm like, I don't know if it worked. But no, I feel good. I do feel excited. I think like having more sessions like this, whether we're recording or not, is really beneficial, especially because I have 20 tabs open right now. So I appreciate you, and I'm excited to see what's to come, but it may be very different, and I'm okay with that because there's a lot of growth in being uncomfortable, and I'm a little uncomfortable right now.
Yeah. Good.
But there's growing pains, and I guess we'll just see
Good.
where it takes us.
We'll find out. Let's
Yeah.
see.
All
All right.
right.
Thank
Well,
you.
I love you.
Love you too.
We're gonna have a new tagline. We can't do try something or someone new.
You can say try something new.
Try something new.
Look, don't worry about the tagline. Just tell them we'll see y'all soon
See you later.
when we figure some stuff out.
Toodaloo. But goodbye.